Hello my darlings, and welcome to another episode of Read OMC. Today we are continuing with our chapter book, Hope Was Here, and we are on chapter 12. GT and I were in his truck heading off to a day of political campaigning. He'd asked me to come along and be his right-hand person. I couldn't have been more proud. I checked the schedule that Adam had put together. How he expected two human beings to accomplish all this was beyond me. GT, this is going to be a beast. In 8 hours, we're supposed to stop at a cheese factory and talk to the workers, hit the commuter train terminal and pass out literature, meet with leaders of the Small Businessmen's Association for lunch, speak to a parents' meeting about overcrowding in the kindergarten, go to the TikTok clock shop for a coffee in your honor, stop by a bingo game at BVMRCC. I don't even know what that is. He chuckled. Blessed Virgin Mary Roman Catholic Church. I shook my head. Something shouldn't be abbreviated. And Adam made up a list, GT, of the people who have contributed to your campaign so far and what they gave. He said we should go over it. GT shook his head. I never want to see that list. Sorry. I put the paper away. You can get so messed up learning who gave what and how much that it'll change your opinion of people. I peeked at the list earlier. The biggest contributor were Slick Bigsby, the cheapest with Mrs. Scarlatti of Scarlatti's World of Cheese, who gave a measly $5 with that thriving cheese store of hers. Some people. I can't imagine you change your opinion of people because of a list, GT. I don't want to take the chance. We're running for everyone. Whoever gives them grateful, whoever doesn't has a right. I'll talk to Adam. GT pulled his truck into the parking lot of the Wisconsin Cheese Company, parked by a big trash compactor, said, I'll be with you in a minute, and bowed his head. I waited. A few minutes passed and his head was still bowed. I figured he was praying. I checked my watch. We were already 15 minutes late. Wasn't sure what to do. I coughed to remind him I was present, cleared my throat, yawned pretty loud. Finally, he opened the truck's door and headed toward the factory. My name's GT Stoop, folks, and I'm running for mayor. The midnight shift was just getting off. GT was standing in the cafeteria shaking as many hands as he could get to. Men and women in white coats and white hard hats were pressing in to see him the way you look at a curiosity. Weird cheese posters lined the walls. Can't miss Swiss. Feta? You betta. Parmesan power. I was doing my best to hand out the Students for Stoop newsletter and smile with flashing intensity. This was politics up close and personal. Down the line he went, asking people how they felt about things. When a man said he didn't think politics could help anyone anymore, GT said one person can make a difference, two can lift a burden, and more than that can start a revolution. When a woman said she hadn't voted for years, GT asked her why. There hasn't been anyone I trusted. I know what you mean, GT told her. Trust doesn't always come right away in life, it has to be earned. He asked if she'd come to listen when he spoke, talk to people who know him. If I can earn your trust in the next few months, will you vote for me? She was surprised at first, but met his gaze. Yes, I will. A man said, I vote because I have to, not because I want to. I've felt that way in plenty of elections too, GT admitted. Once, I didn't vote. I learned I always felt better voting, even if I wasn't happy with the choices. Person after person. He dealt with each one like he or she was the only one in the room. This audience, I can tell you, was moved. Faces pressed in around him, open and smiling. People who looked like they just had a good meal. I walked behind him, passing out newsletters. Thank you for coming out to see GT today, I said over and over. I hope you'll give this a read. We really need your support. A short woman muscled through the crowd, stuck her hand out at GT. I'm voting for you, Stoop. Go out there and kick Millstone's butt. GT shook her hand, laughing. I appreciate it. Then a few men in the back started shouting, Kick Millstone's butt! Kick Millstone's butt! And soon most of the crowd was hollering it. Kick Millstone's butt! Kick Millstone's butt! The cheers swept us into the parking lot. Kicking butt wasn't really the rallying cry I was going for, GT said as he drove to the commuter train terminal. I'm nonviolent. I think they know you'll fight for them, GT. Those cheap people need a warrior. Hope, why do you think people need a warrior? We got to the train terminal late and missed the 8:53. There was no one on the platform. I'm not sure, really. I think people are looking for someone who's strong to fight for them. but I'm not strong. You are in what you believe, but not in my body. Well, I wanted to change the subject. We have this need, Hope, for leaders to look good, sound good, and be perfectly healthy. But life's never been more clear to me than when I got this cancer. I looked at his face, so determined, so tired. He was fighting for strength, pushing, straining to make this day count. I slapped away the fear I had for his health and tried to enter into the courage. What else can you do when you're spending the whole day with one of the finest men on this planet? We survived the irritated kindergarten parents, managed to down the rubbery chicken in lukewarm white gravy at the small businessman's luncheon, headed off to the tick-tock clock shop. What's your mother like, Hope? Sure wasn't expecting that question. I squirmed. You know Addie's not my mother. She told me that. What else has she told him? My mother's a waitress, GT. I let that hang there between us, but it didn't quite tell the story. She's a much better waitress than she is a parent. She doesn't know how to be a mom, I don't think. GT stopped at a light. That's a lot for you to deal with. I've gotten pretty good at it. Driving again. Your mother's missing out on knowing you as a daughter. I never once thought of that. I don't know why, but I almost started crying. You know what I found out about disappointments? GT asked. I sniffed. No. I think that if we face them down, they can become our strengths. Is that what you're doing with your cancer? I'm trying, Hope. I'm sure trying. Drinking weak coffee at the tick-tock clock shop. 6 cancer survivors present, invited there by the owner, Beth Wasaki, who had breast cancer 4 years ago. This was her support group. No handshaking here. Survivors hug. I've been clear of cancer for 7 years, said a woman. Face death about my cemetery plot? They're going to have to wait a while to bury me. Tell people, said a tall, thin woman with fiery eyes, that life's being lived powerfully by many people with cancer. You tell this town that there's all kinds of things that make us sick. Disease is just one of them. She handed him a little card with flowers on it that read, Live the day, not the cancer. As if on cue, every bell, gong, and cuckoo went off in the shop. It was 3 o'clock. This is my favorite time of day, Beth Wisaki shouted. Well, I sure know where to come if I'm ever feeling discouraged, GT shouted over the dings and dongs. But he was doing too much. I could see it on his face. It was drawn gray and stayed like that all the way to VVMRCC. The intensity in this church basement. Women had 10 bingo cards going at once. We get a room full of committed people like this behind us, GT whispered to me, we could change the world. An old woman said to him, You don't look well enough to make it home, much less be mayor. That cut deep. Do I look that bad? He asked me. I gave him the short order truth. You look like a plate of cold fried eggs. No offense. Lost my appeal, huh? It's best the customers don't see the food in that condition. You don't mince words. Just garlic, I reminded him, and led him to the truck. All right, my loves, that's the end of our chapter for today. As always, I love you very much, and I will see you soon.